Hello and greetings. Welcome to the first Fireside Chat, GatherVerse AI XR Summit for Humanity. And with me, I have our special guest and, of course, our special.
It seems
and
like
coming on stage, I got this one, Russell. Thank you so much. And sorry about that, Karen. And welcome back to everyone that's come to join us for this live Fireside Chat. A few little bit of difficulties, which is natural when we're still figuring out this online world of existence, Karen. With as much advancements as we have, you would think we would be a little bit further, but yet here we are. We're so very happy to have you. And with me is Karen Alexander, who comes to us from many different backgrounds of areas of expertise, certainly within the XR environment. And she is one of the co-founders of an extraordinary group and organization called XR Women, which we are huge fans of here at GatherVerse. And so we're very happy to have you, Karen Alexander, to be able to spend some time with us to better understand the rudiments of the human contract for AI and XR and what we certainly hope to refuse to normalize. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Christopher. I'm delighted to be here and really enjoyed the last panel. Some great thoughts and perspectives were shared there. And we too at XR Women are big fans of GatherVerse and are glad to partner with you and to see many of our members speaking here at this summit.
Many of your members are speaking with at GatherVerse for quite some time, including yourself. This is certainly your return back to this concentric circle. And we sit here and we think about, why do we have organizations such as XR Women? Why do we have the need for it? And obviously there is a need here in the pathology of innovation where we need greater representation. We need a sense of equilibrium. We need to be able to put bigger spotlights on the type of leadership that we see within the women's organization. We think about the medical theater and the influence of technology within such. And it certainly doesn't need and shouldn't be just one way in terms of what's developed and innovated for our bodies, for our experiences, and for really the things that we interact with in life. I want to walk with you for a second. There's this very powerful ascending moment that we see happening when it comes to XR and AI, visual intelligence. And we're seeing these sciences, these applied sciences, pair and cross compare together in ways we had a sense of what was to arrive. And we're seeing things that we haven't necessarily have ever heard before. It's part of the fascinations of innovation, isn't it? Karen, really from your lens, because you have a thick background as an educator, you've been a major advocate for education. We're moving so fast and we're accelerating at a hyperscale rate. How do we keep the masses of technologists and creatives, let alone citizens that are doing work outside of technology, but using technology? Do you have a sense on how we're to educate and to keep people up with this progressive scale? Is this one of the reasons why XR Women was founded? Because I just see such a corpus of intelligence that's amassing and brewing, and installations and things that are being shown from your organization that it seems to me you're keeping up at tech speed and maybe moving ahead of it. Your thoughts on this, on the academic front, if you will.
Sure. Well, yes, one of the reasons we formed XR Women was so that we could learn from one another. This was back in November of 2020. And we were a group of women working in the space, and we did not see equal representation in all the panels and the talks that were going on in the large conferences. It seemed that all the speakers were men, even though we knew there were women, talented women working in the space who had things to say and things to offer. But we also knew that there is power and value in connection and community and in bringing people together, forming relationships with them. And it's, that is hugely important, that human element of making connections with others. And I certainly have experienced, and I think many others in the XR Women community have, of feeling as if you can really establish a relationship with someone. And then when you have the opportunity to meet them in physical reality, it's totally magic. It really sort of crystallizes everything. It's as if you're re-encountering a long lost. And I think that's really important, to maintain those human connections.
How in what ways, and I know that XR Women is really exploring this intersection of XR and AI and how so close these technologies are together. What are some of your forward thoughts for all the other community leaders that are here with us today at GatherVerse? I mean, we have a ton of people at GatherVerse.live and X and LinkedIn and YouTube. There's a few people hanging out there always and elsewhere. How do you begin to allow for leaders and companies and startups and organizations to be able to, one, prepare for XR, because many people are studying AI, they're so unaware of XR. And many folks that are in XR, they've been so dedicated to their labors and focus, and they're making sense of AI on a community level, Karen, on a leader level. How do you take that and start to evolve together?
Sure. Yes. Well, I think learning together again is so important. Sharing your knowledge with your colleagues and creating opportunities to share what you know, share your experiences is, everything is moving so quickly, and it's very difficult to stay on top of it. And so remaining adaptable. I think also never losing that critical edge, that ability to examine things with a critical eye is hugely important. So being able to have the trust among a community to be able to say to other members, have you thought about this? Have you looked at this carefully? And what are the implications of what you are doing here? Developing a community of trust in which you can have those kinds of conversations in a respectful way really will help us to move forward in terms of the ethics of this technology that we are dealing with.
What are some of the challenges that you face within this endeavor? Because having community participation within a community is key, because a lot of communities, they're not as elastic. They don't have that glue to keep their members with such fidelity as I see with XR Women, which is very impressive to me, and especially in this particular time, for this vertical that may seem so, you and I are used to it, but there's so many people that are still very unfamiliar with it. But I see just this fidelity of these women leaders that are from all different types of backgrounds, which is certainly impressive to me, and it's proactive. What are some of the challenges to sustain that, to keep this thing going and to scale?
Wow. Well, the challenges are many, Christopher. It's not easy. And I've been doing this for more than 5 years now. And many of our leaders working to keep the organization going have been doing the same. We volunteer our time to make this happen. And that comes at a cost, I will say. And but we believe in what we're doing, and we believe in the power of XR to provide new creative avenues for us, to provide new ways for us to connect with one another, to provide new ways to share information and learn about people, places, and things that we might not otherwise be able to encounter in such a deep and rich way. But in terms of keeping the community going, we have grown organically We've had very little funding. We do seek support from corporations. We believe that we are helping this industry, that we are important to it. The work that we do really matters and helps keep the industry going. We do have, as you suggested, women from all kinds of different backgrounds, whether they're working in healthcare, whether they're artists. There's an incredible exhibition right now in the XR Women Museum, curated by Paige Danziger, who's also one of your speakers for GatherVerse. And I highly encourage you all to check it out in Frame VR. And I think that things like the XR Women Museum, with this incredible artwork from 15 different women, helps you to engage with them at their deepest spiritual level. Draw deep in creating the work that they do. And being able to use all these different tools and to be able to bring this artwork to us virtually is really something special. So I encourage everyone who's listening here to pay a visit to the XR Women Museum in Frame. But I think there's also something, there's a sense of a sisterhood, I suppose you could say, among those of us in the space. You know, so many of us have encountered the same sorts of problems, barriers, pushback, being ignored or insulted even, and we understand that, and we can share that with one another, and we can share a moment together about it, and then we say, but okay, we're moving on, we are continuing to move forward, we're going to persist, and we are going to do our best to help make the future a better place through our work with this technology.
Sure. Yeah. Shout out to Paige Danziger. She's actually with us in studio, and she'll be joining us for the Rex Roundtable. I think you and I both know of the extraordinary work that Paige has really contributed to this industry globally, and the many people that she's helped unify together in this technology. I think it's just outstanding work. And at the same time, within the same breath, Karen, relatable to what you're expressing, audience, we have so many different organizations, women-founded organizations and led, that are severely underfunded. And I'm telling you right now, I sat there as I was listening under the auspices of Karen, thinking about all the organizations I'm familiar with in technology, not just within XR. And to me, XR Women probably sits at the very top of the spear for me as an organization. That I think it goes about it the right way. The organic growth is outstanding. I've seen it directly impact people's careers and lives in creative ways. And it does so much good for the environment. I hope that whoever's out here listening, that if you're in need to align with an organization and to want to support, and even in philanthropic endeavor or partnership, XR Women is the better way to go. I stand that. I put my professional toes on that line, and so I hope that you would consider. I'll say this with the 2 minutes that we have left, Karen. I would like to ask you. We talk about what we refuse to normalize, what we know that needs to be made different. From your very deep lens of experience, I can remember sitting on stage with you, virtual stages, years ago, education summits, and being in the metaverse in different environments and in person. I've known you a very long time. You've been so diligent and consistent. What are we refusing to normalize in 2026, and what must change?
Well, I think we refuse to normalize the commodification of our human essence, and the ways that we are treated as forces to be moved rather than as beings with dignity and with thoughts and rights of our own. I think that we can't normalize the oppression of others. And I won't even start going down the list of what kinds of others those might be. That might take a long time. We can't normalize the denial of the human spirit, the spark that's within us all. That is the essence of who we are.
Do you see a light in this very dark period of innovation? We see so many people that are becoming unemployed in XR. And I do look at XR women as really a safe, concentric circle for progress. Do you believe that we're headed in a better way when it comes to the XR industry as a whole? Or is it time for us to take more of a pragmatic, honest look and figure out what are the next steps for this industry to go in? You're one of our pioneering leaders. I would be remiss in not asking you this before we exit this fireside.
Sure. Well, the times are quite turbulent, and but they're also exciting. And what I'm seeing is the sort of expansion of the range, the continuum of what we consider XR or immersive media, the many different forms in which we interact with it. And I think many more people are interacting with it than even know what those terms mean or have even heard those terms. It is becoming part of our lives. And so these are turbulent times. They're difficult for us. But I think that what I'm seeing and what I'm doing myself is sort of taking that little step back and starting to really theorize now after 10 years in this industry, to theorize what this technology is and what it means to us as human beings. I think we're at the point where we can start to do that now because we're not just thinking about virtual reality in a headset. That's not all that XR is. There are many different ways that we can engage with spatial media in meaningful ways, and that's happening in industry, in healthcare, in education, in the arts, in so many different fields. And we need to be able to step back and look at it critically from a larger perspective.
Indeed. Karen, as quick as it comes, as quick as it goes, our time is well spent, but spent. And audience, I hope that you would take time to connect with Karen and to follow and to join her, support her work and her colleagues in the extraordinary work that they're doing. They are partners of GatherVerse for a good reason. And we're faithful to our commitment with them. And so, Karen, thank you for the outstanding service that you give to community. And you certainly sit on a level of excellence that I think has been impactful for so many different people, seen and unseen, known and unknown, of the sacrifices that you made. And so thank you so much for taking time to be able to spend time with us here. I look forward to periodically checking in with you here at GatherVerse and going into the world of XR women and to convene where y'all are convening as an ally supporter, just to sit, listen, and participate.
Thank you so much, Christopher. It really means a lot to me to hear you say these things. And I greatly admire the work you have done over the years in providing spaces for many more voices to participate in these conversations about XR and AI and more.
I look forward to gathering again, but for now, our gather was well. And the next time we meet again, may our gather be well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And coming up is a roundtable discussion, our final of day one in the GatherVerse XR and AI Summit here in 2026. We just had a heartfelt conversation with Karen Alexander of XR Women, and we look forward to being able to have this next roundtable discussion with some professionals that are afforded to be able to sit and gather with on the topic of human presence in a world of intelligent environments. This is very important pertaining to where we find ourselves at a time of visual intelligence and spatial intelligence and spatial computing. And we look forward to hearing this, and it'll be reared up by our moderator in here with Salvation Shigeroka. May our gather be well.